Hi, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of the podcast. The other day, I interviewed former history teacher of mine, Joe Porter, who's also former NFL corner and now runs his own speed school. Take a listen. How's it going? What's going on, Mr. Porter?
I'm good,
I'm
man.
happy
What's
to
going on
have
with
you
you? How's
here.
everything going?
Everything's good. I'm happy to have you. This is Joe Porter for everyone. So, I guess the best way to start is, can you give me a rundown of your athletic successes, how you started at high school, college, and where you went from there?
They're not very long, but yeah, I'll start. I started playing football in 1993 with my twin brother, Jeff. He'll become relevant soon. He's not relevant now, but he'll become relevant soon. We didn't know much about sports back then. My parents weren't really big into sports, so we didn't the first day I went to play football, I brought in the sign up sheet to my parents' room. And I brought a football sign up sheet. And he brought a baseball sign up sheet. So it was I guess we got to pick one. And we picked football. We didn't know baseball was in the spring and stuff like that. We didn't know. So we picked
Right.
football. We went out there. Played okay, I guess. Pop we call it Little League, but it's Pop Warner. And then I went to high school, and I wasn't so my freshman year, I didn't go to Franklin High School where I graduated from. I went to another school. And we were awful. I mean, we got obliterated by Princeton Day School. They probably can't even find that. They were awful, and they beat the life out of us. Highland Park smoked us. Denellen, towns you can't find on the map. Denellen smoked us, and then they canceled the program after 3 games, believe it or not. And then
Wow.
the next year, I transferred to Franklin High School, played JV. I was actually better in track and field than I was in football early on. I was faster than a lot of people. So, I was okay in track. I was all county in track. And then football started to come along more, steadily, incrementally. And
Right.
we ended up being rotating in my junior year. Then my senior year, I was a full-time starter. But even my junior year, even though I wasn't a starter per se, I played a lot. I had the most interceptions on the team. I had the second most receiving yards, second most rushing yards, like fifth most tackles. And I wasn't even a
Right.
starter. So the next year, things actually kind of, got track obviously went well there also. I was third in the state. I was all state in track, 200 meters. And football the next year went pretty well for me in division, not so much as the team, but individually. I was all conference, all group. I got a lot of attention from colleges. Not a lot of D1 offers. I had one from Rutgers, right there actually on my helmet, but from Rutgers, and so I went there, played all 4 years. I led the country interceptions for a little bit. My sophomore year, I had 5 interceptions my sophomore year, and I played pretty well. I didn't play as much as I would have liked to in my last 2 years. Myself and the coach had a little bit of friction, the
Yeah.
head coach there, and so I went undrafted to the NFL. My brother played through high school, and he got a track scholarship to Michigan, and he was a Big Ten champion his freshman year, and then he won the national championship his senior year. So, within the same week, actually, I had my pro day, and he had his national championship. I ran a 4.28, did some amazing things, and he won that championship that 2 days later type thing. So it was pretty cool.
It's a big day for the family.
Yeah, well, we're all right, but so anyway, I went undrafted. They had a lot of don't tell nobody this. I was probably going to show this, but it's cool. It's fine. It's fine. But you won't believe it now. But I had a lot of there were a lot of red flags on my draft stock. They said I was a behavioral problem. They said I didn't listen to authority. They said, you know what I mean? They said I was a problem child because we
Yeah.
can't understand it. How do you have all these measurables? How do you have all these measurables, but my last year, you don't play, you don't start, and it's because the coach at the time, and he's a coach now, still we just, I don't know, man. To this day, it was a lot of tension, I don't know. He felt like I wasn't being humble, I was being arrogant, I wasn't listening, which I'm sure a part of that was true, but whatever. So that's a long story. But I played in the NFL. I got undrafted by the Saints, and I had attention from like the Jets and the Giants and the Steelers and the Niners. That's probably where I should have went, and the Packers and the Raiders. So, but like an idiot, that's probably like I'm dumb now. I'm losing brain cells. I went to the Saints because they offered me like the biggest signing bonus, not because it was the best fit, Rishabh, because they offered me the biggest signing bonus,
Oh no.
a grand sum of $5,000. Why was that dumb? Because like they had already drafted 2 corners and they traded for somebody for agency. So I was like the 4th person coming in that corner. You know what I mean? So like San Francisco was like, look, we can't offer you a signing bonus, but like we'll offer you opportunity. Like we only drafted 1 guy in the 5th round. I was like, oh, I should have went there. I should have went there, but you know, you live and you learn. So I mean, surprise, surprise, the Saints cut me at the end of the training camp, and I was on the street for a little bit. Not physically, but I was on the street, proverbially on the street for a while there. I went on a bunch of different tryouts, and then I saw an injury. My girl and I, my wife now, but my girl at the time, we were watching the Packers game. I think Packers and the Giants, somebody, and like Charles Woodson from the Packers got hurt, and I was like, huh. I wonder if they're gonna call me now because I had went on tryout there before, and they called me and they brought me in, they signed me, and I spent the next 2 years there. Practice squad, active roster, whatever. But we loved it. I had a great time out there. And then 2010, I was out the league again. I was on the street again. And then the Raiders. I actually spent a year like in the UFL, this like minor league football. It's now defunct, but it sucked too. But and then the Raiders called me in for a tryout. Did well, and they signed me. I spent 2 years there. And that was it. It's the whole story.
That's the whole story. I mean, that's, I guess, a good question that, as a student of yours, I always wonder, like, and a high schooler, was the NFL something you always kind of thought about in high school? Is that like, okay, I'm going in the NFL, or was it not really a dream of yours and it, more than your dreams kind of
That's a good
happened?
question. I didn't really realize, the NFL might be a shot because I mean, like, things are like everything's relative, right? So when you're a freshman playing on varsity seems like never gonna happen. 20 years from now, maybe I might have a shot at it, type thing. So when you hit varsity, you're like, well, can I play in college? And you play in college, you know what I mean? So you start like hitting all your goals. So the NFL, like I love football, I love watching the NFL, I love playing Madden, but like I didn't think I was probably going to play in the NFL when I was in high school. No, I mean I was only thinking about. I mean I still do this now, but like I was only thinking about the 10 minutes in the future. I wasn't thinking about like next year or 2 years down the road. Not no way.
Yeah, that's
I want to be like a high school
understandable.
superstar. That's all I want to do is be a high school superstar, and I didn't think about anything else. You know what I mean? So I came along like a little bit later.
Right. Right. So was there always a feeling of like, hey, I'm different in high school, or was it just like, hey, you're
No, I
just one of
wasn't
those
very good. Like I
guys?
said, like growing up, I wasn't really like a great player. I mean, I thought I was a great player. Looking back, I definitely wasn't. You know, what I mean? I thought I was a baller, but yeah, no, I didn't think. Like I said, I wasn't even a full time starter until I was a senior. You know what I mean? Like I went to NFL,
Right.
by the way. Like my coach didn't start me a game, like the first game of the season, until like I was a senior. You know what I mean? Like so I was like, all right, well, I mean, I played with the class ahead of me, my junior year, and like I knew I was gonna start, but like I don't know, it just no.
Yeah, no, I think definitely there's a lot of us, including myself, that you don't really see yourself
No,
um
no.
doing something. And I think it's also it's a cool story because I know there's a lot of people who are maybe not starting that are aspiring to go further.
Oh
So just
yeah,
to hear that from, hey, I mean,
telling
you didn't
you,
start since senior year and then made it to the NFL.
yeah,
That's pretty
telling
cool.
you.
So
Look, you ask anybody from 1999 to 2001, yo, Joe's gonna be Mr. Porter is gonna be in NFL one day. They'd be like, yeah, right, no chance. He's
right,
short. He's average speed at best. Bro, Rashad, I didn't score my first touchdown, not high school touchdown, period, ever, until I was a sophomore on JV. That's it.
Wow.
I didn't score a touchdown. You know what I mean? Like, I,
Yeah, I know.
bro, they were even like, come on now. You just, bro, I talk about a late bloomer. I was a late bloomer, bro. But like one thing, you know what I mean? You really honestly never know. Especially like sometimes the athletes, like I said, I had a passion for football, but like when I start to kind of like work by myself and do those small things by myself,
Right.
and kind of like just like more persistence than anything, you kind of keep at it. I mean, you just get better at it. You know what I mean? If you keep trying at something, you keep putting more energy towards it, you will. You just get better at it. So. Bro, yeah, no,
Right.
you and I. It wasn't like Mr. Porter was. I was walking down the hallway. Rose petals were like on the floor. Like, you know what I mean? Like money was like raining from the ceiling as I was walking by. Girls were like, "Oh my!" It wasn't like that. It wasn't like they were like, "Who are you again?" It
Right.
wasn't like that at all.
Right. I think you touched upon this point, about like just keep working consistently. I I'm just wondering, was obviously you had a tremendous you put a lot of effort to make it to the NFL, that's huge. Did you feel like you worked hard throughout high school? Were you doing things differently from everyone else throughout high school, or is it like,
Well,
at
this was
first it was slow?
this was a time different. Like this was a time where like we didn't like have social media. Obviously, any parents probably talk about that. Like, oh, back in my day, yeah, like we didn't have social media. So like, I didn't have I didn't know the training that was out there to take my game to the next level. So like everything I learned about, say, playing football, I just like watch people on TV do it. You know what I mean? So like, okay, um, but the things that my coaches taught me, or my teammates who I graduated, like what they had taught me, when they went to college or whatever, I just practice it all the time. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
for
Did,
instance,
did,
catching the football, right? So say you catch like it doesn't have to be a big thing, but like say you catch an extra 20 passes a day, during Monday to Friday, right? That's an extra 100 passes a week over a month.
right.
That's 400 passes over 3 months. That's 1,200 passes, and it goes on, right? So by the time I'm a senior, like I done caught how many thousands of extra footballs more than you. You know what I mean? Or
Right.
different techniques. I just practice them all the time. You know what I mean? Like for instance, like a big thing for my position is called press technique. And I would just go out there on this. It's called the 5-man sled. I practice my press technique on the 5-man sled. You know what I mean? Just for like
Yeah.
like 20, 30 minutes. But you add those up, those little small things when no one sees. They add up. They equate to being a big thing. So I mean, I was doing extra things. I wasn't out there like spending 2 hours a day like Kobe, like wake up in the morning getting like 10,000 shots up and blah blah blah. Like I I we didn't know what we know now. I did my best with what I had. I just knew if I want to have a shot at it, I got to do something. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah,
No, but I think just the attitude of like I'm just gonna do a little bit more every day, and that's just gonna, even though it may not be like you said 2 hours, but doing that every day, and that really probably set you ahead of a lot of other people.
yeah.
Um,
Tell you.
yeah, I had one last question for you. And this is something since the first episode, I want to ask everyone this at the end of each episode. Do you feel like everything you accomplished from playing at Rutgers, playing even in high school, and then of course in the NFL, do you feel like at the end of the day, sitting here now, do you feel like that's worth it? It was all worth it.
Absolutely. Oh, I had a blast. Absolutely. I mean, the experience is like it's like okay. I tried really hard to make the NFL. I didn't play as long as I wanted to or make as much money as I wanted to, but like it was a lifelong goal. And if I applied that same effort and persistence and patience, quite honestly, to like other things in my life, like it'll be I'll have the same result, right? So like it taught me to just kind of just like chop that tree. I know workers would say like keep chopping, right? Like just constantly just stay with it. Eventually it'll fall. You might not know when it'll fall or it might not fall on your time, but eventually like it's gonna happen. Like the same thing like now that I'm a husband and a father, like some days I don't want to do it. Like some days after a long day, I taught 5 classes this day. I had 2 sessions after that. It was cold outside, right? Some kid didn't want to do their work or whatever. Whatever, you know what I mean?
Right.
The principal said this to me, whatever. You know what I mean? Like I don't come home and just, all right, that's it. I'm going to bed. You know what I mean? But like, your kids still need you. Your wife still needs you. Your spouse still needs you, right? So it's like the same thing in sports. Like, some days you don't want to do it, bro. Some days, you know, since, bro, it's 100 degrees outside or it's 2 degrees outside. You know what I mean? Like, your fingers. Like, look at my fingers, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this one is broken. You know what I mean? This one is this how it's supposed to look. This is how it looks. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes my
Yeah,
fingers hurt. I don't want to do it. But like, if you still believe in this thing, if it means that much to you, like when you love something, you sacrifice for it, you know? So
right.
I learned that in NFL, and it absolutely was worth it because I was able to kind of have a a decent life, you know, tell a bunch of stories, and most importantly, like pass on those like lessons from, you know, I learned from NFL to, you know, my clients and my students. Like a lot of times, like even your class, you know what I mean? I would say stuff. You guys have no idea like where I got it from, but I might have
Right.
got it from, like, for instance, like a Hall of Famer. I'm telling you, you know what I mean? Or like I talked to the owner, you know, of the Raiders a couple of times. Like I would ask him, you know, for advice and things like that. And I mean, little gems. You know, this guy's a billionaire. You know what I mean? Like I would give it to you guys. And sometimes, you know, like, you know, kids are receptive. Sometimes they'll be like, whatever, Mr. Porter, like whatever. You know what I mean? Class almost over type thing. Like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
Absolutely worth it though. Absolutely.
That's great to hear. And, I especially like the point about how sports translates to, you know, off the field or off the court. I feel that as, someone who's not playing professional tennis, I feel like there's a lot of stuff that can translate. And I feel like it's great for everyone, high school athlete, no matter what, if you're playing sports, I feel like there's always something you can take and improve your life from that. That's,
Absolutely.
great point.
Absolutely.
It was awesome having you. You're the man. You're a role model of mine. I know you know that, but I appreciate you coming here for the first episode without, any background or, you know, any history to my podcast. So I appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. Let me know if you need anything else, but I had a blast.
Of course. Thank you so much. Take care.
All right, have a good one.
Hi guys. I hope you enjoyed the conversation I had with Mr. Porter. Make sure to share this with anyone who you think would benefit from listening to it, and have a great day.